How has Netanyahu's corruption trial, coupled with accusations of exploiting the Gaza war, intensified Israel's political instability?
Greetings, everybody. In fact, Netanyahu's corruption, in fact, has been going on even before Al-Aqsa flood happened. It's been 5 years, in fact, that corruption has been facing corruption accusations. And the Israelis, or Netanyahu, through what he called judicial reform, has been trying to impose control over all ruling authorities inside of the Israeli state. And the opposition in Israel considered that some kind of a judicial coup led by Netanyahu. But in fact, when the Al-Aqsa flood on the 7th of October came along, in fact, the political trajectory of Netanyahu and Israel changed. Netanyahu, in fact, and this is what we have found out through the NISS, we have found that the Israeli state is suffering from erosion of its ruling authorities, and we are projecting through our think tank, we were projecting through our think tank that Israel is going to target Hezbollah and not really Hamas. But we found that a surprise happened, which was the Al-Aqsa flood, and Netanyahu kept on or started targeting the Gaza Strip and Hamas as a pretext to cover for his corruption issues and accusations. In fact, right now there is as well another judicial predicament in Israel, and Netanyahu keeps on maneuvering and trying to achieve impunity in order to run away from the accusations. And this is what led him to, as I was just saying, carry out what is known in Israel as the judicial coup.
Yes. How has the Supreme Court's ruling on mandatory military service for the ultra-Orthodox Jews affected tensions between Israel's secular and religious communities?
As we mentioned before the 7th of October 2023, in fact, it was perceived that the Israeli state is going to divide into a religious and a secular one. And right now, it seems that the religious extremist sect is ruling over the government of Israel. In March 2023, there was agreement protocols between Netanyahu and, of course, the representative of the Likud party and Chas and the other religious movements in Israel. Part of the agreement had to do with the enactment of Talmud teachings, like the separation between men and women in public buses and the halting of movement during Saturdays. In fact, I think that what's happening is a neutralization of the Haredim Jews, or the Haredi Jews. In fact, before Knesset went to its summer vacation, we have seen how there was a ruling for the conscription of Haredis, but then the Israeli Justice Court, with its ruling, created ripples and collision inside of the Israeli community. And there was a lot of discords regarding the issuance of a law preventing the conscription of Haredi Jews. And this is something we have all heard of. In fact, there was a discord once more between secular sects and religious sects in Israel. In fact, there was a gentleman agreement with Netanyahu, but it wasn't written. This is something that happened recently in Israel. I believe that the situation until now is characterized by a collision between the deep state of Israel and the religious or the right-wing religious sect that is governing, in fact, inside of Israel. In fact, before that, there wasn't really a huge difference between the right wing and the secular wing inside of Israel in terms of voting college.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the erosion of or the lack of consolidation between parties, the voting college, electoral college, in fact, ended in favor of the right wing inside of Israel. That is, of course, extremist. Of course, there is a latent conflict right now between the right wing, of course, on top of which is the Likud party, and which could as well sometimes be represented as secular and sometimes religious, and between other secular democratic parties inside of Israel who are in close discord or in continuous discord with the Israeli government.
Dr. Ayman, what are the implications of Defense Minister Yoav Gallant's dismissal for Israel's political dynamics and also internal power struggles?
In fact, Gallant, when was dismissed when the government was trying to dismiss Gallant in September 2023, there were riots in the streets. But right now, something different, in fact, took place. Gallant objected to the conscription ruling by Netanyahu, and he comes from a military background, in fact, and he was and in fact, he created some challenges for Netanyahu.
Mm.
In fact, the Israeli state was at this point waging war on Lebanon, and it was facing some issues regarding its withdrawal from Lebanon and Palestine. But Netanyahu kept on giving promises to the Americans and the Democrats about how he's not going to dismiss any military official in a non-democratic manner. But when we look at the surveys, we find that Netanyahu's stocks are actually on the rise inside of Israel. And this is a grave indicator regarding the ruling regime inside of Israel. In fact, when Netanyahu is called the king in the Israeli media, because he is, in fact, Netanyahu, in fact, has been corrupt in his ways, political ways and judicial ones. And it is, in fact, unfortunate that the more bloodshed is done by Netanyahu, the more popularity he has in the Israeli state. But right now, we can see, based on indicators, that Netanyahu, despite all the corruption accusations, is still ruling over the Israeli state and is still receiving many, many votes. And right and support. But right now, there aren't any indicators for early elections in Israel, and we're going to wait for 2026 for Israel to go through elections, and we're going to see whether Gallant is going to run for the elections. In fact, the New Hope Party is going back to its membership of Likud, and this is giving force once more to Netanyahu as the leader of the Likud party, or to become the leader of the Likud party and to stay in power in Israel.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ayman Al-Raqab, Professor of Political Science at Al-Quds University, for your insightful and comprehensive analysis. We thank you very much.